This is topic B on page 79, inserting shapes. You may not always be able to find the right image for your message. In some situations, it might be best to create your own graphics. PowerPoint enables you to add and customize a variety of shapes to your presentations. Let me navigate to an empty slide here, number 3. And to insert shapes into your slides, you go up to your Insert tab of your ribbon. And in your Illustrations command group, here we have a drop-down gallery of shapes. So all of your available shapes are from this drop-down. And they're broken down into sections. You have some recently used shapes, lines, rectangles, basic shapes, block arrows, equation shapes, flowchart, stars and banners, call-outs, and action buttons. So what you do is you select the shape that you want to insert. I'll go with this heart, and if you hover over, you do get the screen tip of the exact name of that. I click on that, and it does not just drop into my slide. I actually have to draw it on. So what I do is I hold my left mouse key down and click and drag, and I can hold that mouse button down until I get the proportion for the shape I want. So you can see you can squish it horizontally or vertically, stretch it out a little bit more. And then once you get the size you want, you let go of your mouse button and it drops onto your slide. You can still resize it after placing it onto your slide, so don't worry about getting it exact. Now the default color of your shapes will always be this light blue color unless you physically change it. So you get your Drawing Tools Format Contextual tab when you have a shape selected. And the same way that you change your text boxes, you can also change the fill color, outline, and effects for your shapes as well. So you can see I can change that to a yellow, or I can do a fill color, whatever color I want. You can do your shape outline, we'll do yellow for that. And I can add some weight to that border. All of your effects that you have for your text boxes you can apply to your shapes as well. Let's change that shape fill color to orange. Now, like I said, every time you insert a shape onto your slide, it's going to come up in that default color. Here, let me choose another one. We'll do an arrow here. So you can see it inserts in that light blue color for you, that default. Now, if you want, excuse me, if you wanted this orange fill color with the yellow border to be your default, I could right click on that, and in my context menu I could set this as the default shape. Just click on that from the context menu, and now when I go to insert a shape into my slide, I'll do a smiley face this time, click and drag. Now the default is that orange fill color with your yellow border. It's no longer that light blue. Okay, so you can easily change the default there. Again, you have your shape fill, your shape outline, shape effects. You can also, when it's selected, start typing, and you can insert text in there. With your text selected, you have your text fill, outline, and effects that you can change there as well, adding some word art styles to it if you would like. Now, you can also merge shapes together. So I have two separate individual shapes here. I have my heart and my arrow. On page number 105 in your textbook, you can create custom shapes by merging them. Now, in order to do this, I have to have both shapes selected. So you select one, you can either hold down your Control key or your Shift key, and then click on the other one, so I get my two individual sizing borders around each. And then on the Drawing Tools Format Contextual tab, in my Insert Shapes command group, here I have a Merge Shapes drop-down. And you have different options here. Your Union option combines these shapes into a single solid shape. Any overlapping regions display as part of the new shape. So union, you can see it took on the first shape that I selected, which was my arrow. It took on the coloring for that because it has to stay the same since now it is one shape. Now I have one individual shape that I merged together. If I deselect and select my heart first, control and select my arrow, and then do my union, you can see it took on the coloring and border of my heart shape. So it all depends on which one you select first. I'm going to undo that. The next merge shape option is combine. And this combines these shapes into a single shape with the overlapped regions removed. So this part is where the two shapes overlap. So you can see the background color of the slide comes through in that area. So there's technically no shape there. So that is your combine option. Then we have our fragment option. This combines the shapes into multiple different shapes based on the overlapped regions of the original shape. So this breaks it into pieces. This part is a shape. This is a shape inside. So I can move this individually. This is its own shape. And this is its own shape. So anywhere it overlaps, it breaks it into pieces, almost like pieces of a puzzle. Okay. And then the next option we have is the intersect option. And this combines the shapes into a single shape defined by the region in which all selected shapes overlap each other. So we know that it overlaps in this piece right here. So when I select my intersect option, that's all it will leave me with, is that one little piece there. And then the last one we have is the subtract option. And this leaves a single shape that is a variation of the first shape selected. The portion of the first shape selected that overlap with the other shapes are removed. So again, this is the overlap portion. The first shape that I had selected was my heart. So when I do subtract, it just removes that overlapped portion there. Okay, so you have some different options for combining shapes and creating custom shapes. Your next video will be Activity 4.2 on page 81.